The member for McKellar.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Treasurer. Will the Treasurer update the House on his recent attendance at the annual meetings of the World Bank and the IMF and the G20 Finance Ministers meeting?
Members on my left.
Will the Treasurer explain to the House how the Australian economy is performing compared to other G20 countries and the importance of our stable and certain approach on economic management? Is the Treasurer aware of any alternative policy approaches?
The Treasurer has the call.
I thank the member for McKellar for his question and note his extensive experience in business that he brings to this place and his commitment to strong economic management. Mr Speaker, the meeting of the IMF, G20 and World Bank came at an important time for the global economy as we are going through a synchronised slowdown, with the IMF downgrading the global forecast to 3% for 2019, Mr Speaker. The mood at the meeting was serious but not panicked, Mr Speaker, as countries the world over are getting used to a world and economy with low interest rates, low inflation and relatively low unemployment. But the trade tensions between China and the US hang over the global economy like a dark cloud, Mr Speaker, and the IMF has estimated that if they are unresolved, those tensions between China and the US, they could lead to an up to 0.8% reduction in global growth by 2020, Mr Speaker. But certainly the comments from both the Americans and Chinese at this meeting were more positive than we've heard before. Now, Mr Speaker, this meeting reinforced the need for Australia to continue to have considered, disciplined economic management, Mr Speaker. Economic management that sees Australia in its 29th consecutive year of economic growth and with the first balanced budget in 11 years, Mr Speaker. The first balanced budget in 11 years. And balanced budgets and surplus budgets help build the resilience of the Australian economy for external shocks whenever they may occur. But, Mr Speaker, I'm asked, are there any alternative approaches? And we know that the Labor Party would take a sledgehammer to the Australian economy. We know they proposed $387 billion of higher taxes, which would be hitting Australians from the 1st of July this year, Mr Speaker. We know that they can't manage money because even when iron ore had a price that was more than double of what it is today, they still couldn't deliver a surplus budget, Mr Speaker. We know that the unemployment rate was higher when Labor was in and the participation rate was lower than it is today. And, Mr Speaker, we know we shouldn't expect anything different from those opposite when the member for Sydney said she's mystified by the term aspiration, Mr Speaker. When the member for Corio said that Labor took to the last election handouts, not hope, Mr Speaker. When the member for Rankin says that retirees' tax and a housing tax is something that he's proud and he's pleased of, Mr Speaker. No wonder former Labor Prime Minister Paul Keating said the Labor Party today has lost the ability to speak to the aspirational Australians and to formulate policies to meet those aspirations.